afternoon now. Hello, everybody. It's Scott Roberts here with the Explore Alliance Live presentation of the OpenGOTO community, and it's great to be back here today with Jerry Hubbell and Tyler Bowman. Jerry's all rested up and everything from his vacation. I think he's rested up. I don't think he had too much anxiety. Although I did see him jumping in and still helping out customers. So
Yeah, a couple times.
he just can't tear himself away. We had a really great global star party on Saturday. It was, really impressive. And I think that a lot of you guys might have enjoyed that. It was the first time ever that, to my knowledge, and maybe it's been done before, but I've been asking around, we did a blended, or what some people were calling a mosaic broadcast. Simon Tang was broadcasting to his channel. I was broadcasting out to our channels, and we were able to hook the shows together so that his audience could see us and our audience could see theirs. The only thing that didn't get mixed or joined was the chats, so we kind of had to coordinate that back and forth. But that was really, really interesting, and I gotta take my hat off to Simon Tang for pulling that off. So it was really, really interesting to me. So let's look at who's with us today. We got I think a lot of our regular audience. We got James the astrophotographer, Marco Pola, Tim Myers, Mike Wiesner, Dusty Haskins. Hey everyone, hope all of your weekends were awesome. I got to watch a global star party. That's great. Tim Myers, oh my God, and it certainly lived up to its reputation. I hope that was a good reputation. Let's see. Astro Beard, Richard Grace is on. Some of these names come up with like red lettering against a blue background, and I can't read it. But anyhow, glad to see you there. That's someone on Twitch. Dale Beasley. Oh, nice. I'm on time today. All right, great. Richard Lighthill. Hi, Mike Wiesner. Going to be down in your area for the first part of November. And he wants to image some of those more southern nebulas. Marco Polo reports, I went to my astronomy club's dark sky site last night. I have only had a 2-hour nap since then, but seeing the M42 Orion Nebula and my Explore Scientific 10-inch Dob with its Explore Scientific 82-degree 11-millimeter eyepiece was incredible. Thank you, man. Let's see. Who else? Jeff Wise. Andrew Corkill's on. Nice to have you on. Shailendra Sharma, also known as Chuck Sta. He's there from the UK. And Wolfgang, good evening from Germany. Yep, great to have you on. Michael Whitaker. I think, isn't Michael Whitaker from the UK as well? Do you remember?
I don't know. Maybe.
He'll tell us. Yeah. Let's see. And Edward Perez, hello from Puerto Rico. Nice to have you watching over there. That's great. Hope that the Arecibo Observatory is getting fixed. That was terrible that it got damaged. And who else? That's it for right now. So, and looks like Ken Noble maybe. Awaiting the arrival of promised clear skies. So, one day clear skies do come. Don't worry. Might take a while. But anyhow, that was just a quick recap of the 14th Global Star Party. That Global Star Party had a reach of something like almost 20,000 people and almost 5,000 video views. So it seems like step by step the audience is just growing more and more, which is great because I think people are loving the concept of seeing astronomers from around the world participating together, you know. Um, and Pramvera is sending me a message, so let me send her a message here. Okay, let's see. You guys just bear with me for a moment. Pramvera wants to come on. So, in the meantime, Tyler, why don't you give us what's going on with the OpenGOTO community?
OpenGOTO community is about it's just very, I guess everybody's getting ready for the opposition.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of Mars pictures on
Yeah.
the OpenGOTO forum. I actually sent you one. Say again?
Share a couple of those images.
The only one that I have right now is from the gentleman I sent you earlier today, Mr. Elliott.
Yeah, share that.
Let me bring it up here. Screen share function. Screen share. There. Here. So this was taken on a C11 from Celestron. I can't remember the focal length, but it was a 20-second shot that I had Gary Palmer break down and stack in, I believe it was an auto stacker. So just 20 seconds at 700 power through a cell phone. Samsung cell phone. That's nuts. Just the video alone, the seeing, there was no atmospheric disturbance. There was hardly any at all.
That's why it's such a good quality, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if he could have got 30 seconds or 40 seconds exposure.
Can you zoom up on that?
Yeah, I can zoom on that. You got the polar ice cap right here, which I remember in 2018 it being a lot bigger. But then you got the wonderful cloud here all the way around.
Nice.
I mean, it's an all-around detailed image just for a cell phone.
Nice.
Straight through a C11, which I can't remember the focal length on that one.
Cell phone? This is
He shot a 20-second video that I had to convert to a SCR file, then ship it to Gary because I don't have stacking software on my work computer. And this was what he was able to do with just that. It's a lot of detail.
Super detailed. With us, she has just a couple of minutes before she has to go to her next class. So why don't we have you share your screen, Tyler? And Pramvera, I'll give you the stage here. Let's see. I don't hear you.
Yeah. You hear me now? Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Sorry to interrupt like that. I only have a couple of minutes, and I just wanted to come here and tell everybody who's watching that tomorrow in the Global Star Party, starting at 7 p.m. Central, we're going to have a really special guest. It's Declination, who's only 10 years old. And believe it or not, he can speak English very well despite his young age. He taught himself English, and he is a very, very huge enthusiast of astronomy. So I first heard of him when his school invited me to do an outreach event in Kosovo. And I went there, and when I was asking questions to the students in the class, he was the only one who actually was able to answer all of my questions.
Wow.
And the cool thing about that is that despite his young age, when he was at 6 years old, he published his book, which is called My Universe. And you can see in that book all his drawings and all his activity that he learned about astronomy and biology and other sciences. And when you look at that book, for somebody who's like only 6 years old to know what a light year is and how far is like Proxima Centauri, and to know about planets and how they move around the sun, and to understand all the phenomena at a very young age, it's something that I don't see very often.
No.
And so I just wanted for him to come tomorrow in the show and talk to you guys. I know it would be so exciting for him to be able to talk to astronomers and hear you guys and all your, to see all your photos and learn about telescopes and all that. It's really great. He also has a very high IQ. I think it was an institution of Kosovo who determined that. He's just spectacularly talented, and I think it's worth bringing. Kind of like Libby and the Stars, with the same enthusiasm. That's how Ditrin is. So yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you want to see somebody at a very young age doing something really awesome, you come up to this show and follow tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time. So that's all I wanted to say, because I gotta run to my next class.
Okay.
And by the way, Tyler, that Mars photo was awesome. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Pranvera. Thanks for coming on with us for a little while.
yeah, sure. Thank you for the opportunity that you're allowing, everybody to come here and promote their work and like engage. And it's really awesome. I really like this show, and thank you for doing it.
Thanks very much, Pranvera. Yeah, anytime.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, don't forget that Astronomy Outreach of Kosovo still has their GoFundMe page, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So if you're interested in helping Astronomy Outreach of Kosovo build their first observatory in Kosovo, consider donating a little bit of money there.
Can you
So
provide a link, Scott?
I could. Have
Yeah,
to-
I will also be able to send it in the chat.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, because I just got it like right here.
Okay. Go ahead and put it up there, and I'll
Right.
repost it so it chats to everyone.
And tomorrow, when you hear this little guy tell you all about his stuff, and he's not the only one that we have in our team. We have like a lot of young people like that. You will see why it's worth actually donating, and why it would be awesome to have an observatory in our country. So yeah, I just dropped the link in the chat. Thank
see it.
you.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Thanks, Pranvera. Good luck with.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. So that's just kind of a little sneak peek of coming attractions for tomorrow. We're going to put, I think his name is, it's not Dimitri. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name, but anyways, I'll have to have it all figured out for tomorrow. But he is a brilliant kid, and it's going to be really interesting to see someone so young that knows so much. So maybe we can have some good interaction with him. Somebody asked, where can we buy his book? I don't know yet. I think it was probably published in Kosovo, but perhaps there's a way to get it anywhere in the world. So we'll have to check that out. In addition to, his new arrival will be Robert Wilmore. He runs a program called Space Time with Robert. He has been on our program before, but he's going to be showing more of what he does in astronomy outreach. He'll be on. We've got a lot of our regulars will be on as well. So you can expect to see, certainly David Levy and Kelly Beatty giving his last install of his 7-part series on the state of amateur astronomy. Be sad to see Kelly go, but we will look for another short series like his to come on for your education and entertainment. Let's see. And I'm looking at some of the posts here. We've got Gary Palmer on and Jeff Wise Thomas Walker. I'm spending my first night in my observatory I've built now, shooting the Sol Nebula at the moment. That's so cool. Great listening to the show. Thanks for listening in, Thomas. So, so I think that at this point, I'm going to turn this over to you, Jerry, and
Okay.
we'll get into Jerry's universe here.
My dogs are a little bit restless, and you'll hear one of them barking in the back.
Actually,
I don't know what she's going on after, but it's always something, you know, it's just always something. So there was a couple things I wanted to point out. There's another website that I used to use that I cannot remember the name of it, but I also have used this website. I just wanted to talk about Mars for a minute. I'm going to share my screen real quick with this web page. Do you see that? Heavens Above.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a good web page for overall looking at the sky and finding things. So if we go to the planets, this has got a nice ephemeris. This is right now where everything's located at. But if you can see Mars, let me set it for tomorrow. For opposition, opposition is tomorrow, of course, for Mars. So if we look at tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, the size, the equatorial diameter of Mars maximizes at 22.4 arc seconds, and it's a negative 2.6 magnitude, which is pretty darn bright.
Wow, it's brighter than Jupiter.
Yeah, not quite as bright as Venus, of course. Venus is very bright here at 3.9, but and it crosses and this is when it crosses the meridian right at midnight. So when you're looking out at space at midnight, basically you're looking at the direction the Earth is moving in space. It's like you're in the front seat of the Earth looking out into space. It's kind of cool thinking about it that way.
Yeah.
And so that's the, and then here's the right ascension and declination for Mars if you want to know what the coordinates are. The nice thing about this year is it's above the it's a positive declination for us in the northern hemisphere. It makes it higher in the sky for us, which is nice. We've so many of these oppositions. The planets have been in the southern sky. It's really low on the horizon for us in the northern hemisphere. Although, you know, people in Australia and other places like that are very fortunate to see these planets when it's up in the sky high. Also, there's also a chart.
But it also does satellites, right?
Yeah, it does satellites. Does the like the ISS is a big one. Looking for passes. It'd be cool. I don't know if there's any time when the ISS would pass by Mars. But that would be kind of a cool picture.
Oh, it'd be very cool.
If you could get that. But yeah, they've got a large number of satellites. Starlink passes, of course. I don't know if nothing for now. But
outside ringing the doorbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share one other thing. I've been invited last week. I don't remember his last name. His name's Michael. He invited me. He watched our show last week when I was talking about the exoplanet stuff, and he invited his group called. Let me go to that. It's called the Worldwide Variable Star Hunters.
Oh, wow.
They have a large telescope, relatively large telescope over in Abu Dhabi that they run. It's a group of 10 guys that run the thing, and let me show you what it looks like. It's a 24-inch plane wave CDK, and I've been invited to join their team to do exoplanet research with them.
Oh, very cool.
And they've also got their first observations in a paper that was published recently. Actually, I don't know if I have it here. I have to find that. Maybe I'll provide a post for that. But they've actually got one paper where they contributed observations to this exoplanet with a test follow-up mission. So that's kind of nice to see. So I've worked with Michael to get remote access to their system, and they run it just pretty much like we run on MSRO. They got Maxim DL. They've got nicer equipment than we have. They've got an FLI camera, nice focuser, of course, a 24-inch CDK plane wave telescope, which is an awesome scope. So I'm looking forward to using that system going forward.
Looks very good. Looks excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what else. There's still been some chatter on the forums, beginners coming on. We've still got, people joining every day. And people are frustrated with the Explore Stars app in some respects because there's slight differences between the platforms. And to a beginner, if you can't find something, it's a big problem. If they don't know where to search for anything, they're not familiar with the program. There's really no really detailed written manual to use the Explore Stars application. Our design goal for the system, we can talk about this a little bit, is to make it as intuitive as we could make it, okay, in terms of the graphical interface. But you still have to understand a little bit about what you're doing. There's really no way around that. There's a minimum amount of instruction that you have to have when you're starting out about the sky and what objects there are and how you find the objects in the Explore Stars app, and what the scope is actually doing when you go to the object. How does it know in the sky where it's at, that type of stuff. And the biggest thing, of course, with using a GOTO system is you have to know how to identify stars. To do a virtual polar alignment, it'll slew to a star and tell you to center it. But when you look up at the sky, it tells you the star, but if you're not right on, you don't know which star is which. You might think it's near the brightest star, but you don't know. And sometimes the alignment can go wacky if you don't center it on the correct star and you align it to that. It kind of screws up. So that's frustration. The other thing is the other way to do it is to do a really good polar alignment. And that's a whole exercise in itself that you have to learn how to do with a polar alignment scope or with other methods that Scott, like we have presented in other shows that Scott presented a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So as a beginner, you still have a lot to learn up front before you can even get out under the sky and really be effective. And it's always better to learn stuff while you're in the house than it is to try to learn it for the first time out under the sky, because you just get frustrated because you're real excited about looking at things and you just can't do it. That's what's frustrating about trying to learn it first time out under the sky. It's really good to study and learn this stuff in the house as much as you can. That's the biggest piece of advice I would give to beginners, is to, while there's no stars out, just go ahead and start learning the system inside as much as you can.
Right. That's right. I'm answering some questions right now for Edward. He's wanting to know if he should have a 5 times Barlow or a 3 times Barlow with his Celestron 130, which is a 5-inch reflector. This has 650 millimeters of focal length. It's an F5 instrument. Edward, the thing is, and you have the standard 10 and 20 millimeter eyepiece that come with that scope. I would personally recommend, I would advise you to be more conservative and not try to push magnification super high, okay? That telescope is really designed to be wide field, low power type of usage, generally designed for deep sky observing. Of course it can see planets, of course it can see the moon, but really pushing the magnification is not going to give you sharper images. You would have to have What you're really after is you're after really steady sky conditions. And so we're going to recommend some of the techniques that were described on the Global Star Party on Saturday. And the first of those techniques is to let the scope cool down and make sure that that scope is collimated. You want to make sure it's dead on collimation, okay? You want to be observing on grass if you can, okay? Because pavement, houses, cars, rocks, all these things radiate heat up into the sky and they'll blur the images, okay? And just increasing magnification just increases how blurry they look, okay? So you need steady skies for this. I would say that if you had a 3 times Barlow and you compared that against your 20 and your 10 millimeter eyepiece, that should give you more than enough range to increase the magnification. But you'd probably be a lot better off with, maybe getting something like an 82 degree 6.7, something like that. Don't expect to see huge images of the planets. That's not what the scope is all about. It doesn't have the focal length that you want for doing that kind of thing. A lot of astronomers have different telescopes to do different things. And if you get into kind of a specialty of observing planets, we're going to recommend a real long focal length refractor, something like that. Okay, it doesn't have to be a big aperture refractor. It could be a 90 millimeter or a 4-inch, and that could do a very decent job for you. So that's the recommendation at this time, 3x. So anyhow,
and I think that's kind of pushing it also a little bit.
It is.
I think I would limit the 3x to using with the 20 millimeter that you have. I wouldn't even use the 3x with the 10 millimeter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you're down 3.
That's 6 millimeters. That's 6 millimeters effective.
Yeah. Well, it would be it'd be less than that. Multiplying by 3. So you take 10 divided by 3.
Oh, for 10, I'm talking about 20 would be equal to 6.3.
20, that's true. That's right.
Yeah, 10 would be 3.3, and that's a tough.
It's too much.
That's too much.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, I don't know if we have any more questions. Let me look here. Donald White says, I'm using a 9 millimeter and it's perfect. Also pairs well with Barlow without much image blur. Okay. Eduardo says, I have a 6-inch SET and I don't go down below 8 millimeters. And Jim Norwood says, I just ordered an Explorer Scientific 3X focal extender earlier today for an 127, I think that's what it is, 127 ED for planetary with a ZWO camera. Hope that wasn't a mistake. It's never a mistake if you have good seeing.
Even then for imaging, you still want to, the effective focal ratio you want to have when you're doing planetary like imaging and lunar imaging is around f20 to f30, depending on your skies.
Mm-hmm.
f25, I've shot at f25 and f30, and if you got a very fast camera that can do like 1 to 2 millisecond exposures, you can beat the seeing because you basically freeze the atmosphere. And the stacking software is so cool that it just picks out the best pieces of each image to stack. You can effectively, plus that you get such a high frame rate, like with the FLI not FLI, it's a FLIR Systems camera. It used to be, it's a very high speed. It's like a 200 samples per second exposure rate that I can get on it. So you can get a large number of images in a short period of time. You get a very fast camera that will freeze the atmosphere, 5 millisecond exposures on the moon, or maybe 10 milliseconds on Mars. That would be great. Get 1,000 frames in less than a minute. That's that's when you can really freeze the scene and make most effective use of that teleconverter. But if you got a what is it? F7 is the 127, F7.5. Is that what that is?
What's
Then
that?
you would the F7
Is 127?
is F7 F7.5.
Um, he says for an AT 72 ED. It's a 72 millimeter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for planetary, you typically want to push your focal ratio up to around f20 to 25.
Andrew Corkill says, Scotty, I'm observing through my from my concrete patio, surrounded by houses and streetlights, and limiting visual magnitude of 3.0. I'm seeing more through my ESED 152ED Apo than I ever dreamed of. That's awesome. He says, I used a 6-inch reflector for years and good to dark skies, and I never saw as much detail as I see through the refractor. Well, refractors do have a lot of contrast, and so that punch, is really helpful. And our refractors are diffraction limited, so and that also makes a big difference if you've been using a telescope that maybe has, a low to high third wave figure, okay, which is unfortunately not uncommon to see in the commercial telescope manufacturing. We hold that bar at diffraction limited or better, and so that's part of the reason why that you're seeing better images, I think.
I wanted to bring up some
Yeah.
recent imaging I did actually the other day of the moon, Thursday, and I guess it was maybe Thursday and Friday morning. It was the 8th and 9th. Let me bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Oh, wow. Yep.
So let me zoom up.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to zoom up a lot because this image is amazing. This is with a deep sky camera. This is with the setup not for planetary lunar imaging. It's set up for deep sky where the field of view of the camera is 1.3 by 0.9 degrees. And of course the moon is only a half a degree in diameter. So I'm going to zoom up and show you what this telescope is capable of. Okay. All right. So let me see here. I don't even know if that's full zoom. So this is the straight wall right here. Let me zoom up a little bit more.
Oh, that right there on the
See
side.
right here? Yeah. So this is right. So this is the straight wall right here. All right. This crater right here is 3 miles in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was taken with a fairly wide field, focal length of 850 millimeters at f5. So I tell you to do planetary lunar, you need f20 focal ratio of about 20 to 25.
Right.
I was trying to see how far I could push this system as it's configured for deep sky to see what kind of resolution we could squeeze out of it. And this is, of course, with our nice 6.5-inch refractor ED Apo FPL 53 glass. But again, so this crater is about 5 miles. This crater right here is about 4 miles in diameter. All right, and so the same thing here. I guess one thing that people complained about was my cursor size. Should I change my cursor size? Can you all see that? I know Mike, was it Mike Wiesner?
Somebody, I don't remember.
So basically, this is I like taking these full disk images of the moon.
Yeah, and
All
zoom
right.
in on them.
Zoom in on them and get all the details. So So what I did is I take a crop and I show them a little more. So let me, this is Copernicus. Let me zoom up on Copernicus. You can see these little hummocks, these little hills.
Yeah.
You can see features down to like 2 to 3 miles.
So how much better could it get with the rig that you have? Let's say that you used, I don't know, one of our 3X focal extenders.
Oh, well, I've done that. I've taken pictures with the 3X focal extender on that scope, and it's just, you can see craters down to 1 kilometer, less than a mile. If the scene's good. Now, the thing is about this camera, these were like 2 millisecond exposures. I had 1,000 frames at 2 milliseconds, and then I did the top 5% basically to stack. So this is only like actually less than that, 4%. I stacked 40 frames to get this image out of 1,000. So it's kind of what they call lucky imaging, where you get the best ones you can. So even with it pulled out, you can't even see, even with the regular resolution, 100%, you can't see everything that's on here until you really, like, for example, you can start to see hints of craters. Like there's a little feature here that's like a hint of a crater. That's one's again probably about 5 miles or 3 miles and 5 kilometers or so. I noticed that Gary's on here. What do you think, Gary?
I think it looks really good. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Scott. Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm well, thanks. Yeah, no, it looks really good.
Yeah, I try to push the limits of the setup because I can't just go out and swap it out for my planetary, with the telextender and the planetary camera on there. I just have to make do with what I have. But I've been enjoying over the last few months doing these full disc images and then seeing what I can get out of them. I'd kind of like to do an atlas with this, but so this is a 21 day old moon, and this is a 22-day old moon, and you can compare the shadow changes. This one's actually come out a little better, this 22-day old moon. If you look at, let's go down here to Tycho. So there's Tycho. And you could actually measure, I could use LTVT to measure the peak height with this shadow the way it is. It's a nice shadow here. It's very well defined.
It would be really cool to see a time lapse, just zoomed in on one crater where you see like the shadows,
a shadow move
across or something,
Yeah, right. I've seen that over a 3-hour period. I've taken images and shown shadow changes over like a 3 or 4 hour period.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it takes a while to see that. But you could easily measure this peak in Tycho. But again, this looks like we're on a close-up small frame image, but then I'm going to zoom out all the way. So that tells you how big that image is. It's I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
That's the kind of lunar imaging I've been doing lately over the last few months, since we don't have much opportunity to change the camera system right now.
Right.
I quite often do the same here. If I've got the deep sky camera set up, and then you're sort of finishing up on the deep sky, spin it over to the moon, record a few videos on that, and then process them up. Yeah. You can always use the ROI on most of the CMOS cameras, so you can chuck away what you don't need and come right in nice and close.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
So Gary, you're doing some imaging right now, right?
Yeah. It cleared for a little bit, so I thought I'd come out. I was doing some testing on the guide systems. Okay. Really. So it was just getting them all in focus and getting everything polar aligned. So at the moment we are hopefully showing that. We're on M45 at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Remove these down. They're coming in. But what we could do, just to show a point, on ROI is if we stop this and stop that for a second, and then go into here, and we change this to. Now, while you won't get a massively close-up picture, you will still get some detail on here. This has got a reducer on the system as well, so it's not going to be the biggest shot in the world, but it will prove the point that even with quite small systems, let's get that on that faster refresh. There we go. And we're just going to move that in a little bit closer. So I'm just going to center it up, because when you ROI, yeah, that will just disappear completely off of the screen if you're not near the center. So somewhere there. And then what we'll do is change the size on the camera and also change the speed. Once you go into planetary, you can drop back over to 8-bit mode, and that will help the camera massively. Change this over to SER in case you want to record. Close it there. And then going to come right the way down. Try 640 by 480 first and see whether it's there, and then start adjusting out the settings. Need to take off the auto stretch and then bring the timing down.
Yep. I was going to say those lunar images that I showed, I took them with sharp cap also.
So if we now start coming in and start playing around with the settings, I can see detail on the surface there, even though the seeing is not brilliant. Probably zoom in a bit more on that as well. Come in around 400. So you can see the bottom detail running there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now bearing in mind that that system's running, it's only 102mm refractor. It's on nearly a 40. It's APC size sensor, and you allow for everything else, the reducer on it. You can still pick detail up on these things. You don't have to go mad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is you're still critically sampled, so your sky is going to limit you. But with planetary, you want to be way very long focal length, because you can freeze the seeing and you can beat the seeing to where you can take advantage of that focal length, where on the deep sky camera you're doing long exposure, you can't really do that.
Yeah, but the issue is anything's possible. You know, if you haven't got, you know, a massive telescope, use the camera if you want to have a view of it. Yeah, you can put more or less any camera in. You can do exactly the same as this with a Canon. Yeah, you can change the resolutions, and you can use the live view zoom feature on it and times it by 10, and that will do exactly the same as this and drop you in at this. If we took the reducer off, you could probably record this and get detail at the same time.
Right.
So yeah, it's just really a bit of a play around, but it's showing that you can do these sort of things.
Well, it challenges you. For me, it challenged me to get the best, to get my processing and everything to the best I can get with the limits that I put on myself in terms of the resolution. I can draw out as much as I can out of the image.
Yeah, but I mean, with this here, like I say, even off that 102 with the 3x Barlow on that, yeah, you would easily be able to get detail on Mars. Certainly at the height it is at the moment. Just providing it hasn't got any clouds, that is.
Yeah.
Which tomorrow night, being opposition night in the UK, is going to be cloudy.
It's going to be cloudy.
Yeah.
I haven't even checked my weather yet to see what it's going to be.
I'll check mine. It doesn't matter. You could put an event in the diary for 1,000 years' time and it will be cloudy in the UK.
Right. Well, I think that we are kind of ready to wrap it up for today. I got some more work to do to get ready for the star party for tomorrow. But if any of you are interested in joining us, certainly you can get a free ticket. And also, let me put the link in here so that you can get it.
What's today's episode? Is it 80, 85 or something? 86?
No, we're past that. I think we're at 87.
Oh, 87. We're getting close to it. In about 2 weeks, we're gonna have episode 100.
Episode 100. That's right. That's right. We're gonna have to figure out a way to celebrate that. Yep. Wade Prunty says a free ticket to paradise. Of course. Well, thanks for sharing that with your live views there, Gary.
No problem. I make up for tonight rather than tomorrow night where we have nothing.
Okay. All right. That sounds great, man. All right. Anything else you want to add there, Jerry?
No, I think everything's good.
Right.
Oh, just to mention this picture in my background. I don't know who that fella is down on this side. I guess that's about almost 40 years ago. I had much more hair then.
Yes, you did. Are you watching you're not watching like a system failure or something, right?
No, I'm actually running a test on the control systems in the plant. This is during an outage. We'd typically have a guy up top in the control room running the test, and then you have 2 or 3 people out down in the control, the equipment room where the instruments were to run the test, and we trade off, to do that. But that was I miss working in the control room. That technology is pretty fascinating to me anyway. It's all analog computers control systems. It's an analog computer to control all the different systems on the plant.
It looks like the first go-to system.
Yeah, that's about what the technology is like. I could imagine building a go-to system. How to do that? Build a go-to system out of an analog system.
Use tubes. That's right.
Right. Tubes.
So I do want to add that our promotion for the observatory tent will come to a close at the end of this month. So if you're thinking that you want to get one and get the best deal possible and be one of the very first ones to get one, you're going to want to join the Explore Alliance. I'll give you a link for that too. And and if you are a paid member, the way this works, the paid membership is essentially, really it ends up being free, okay? Because even if you buy into our platinum membership, which costs you $99, you're going to get a $100 gift card back, okay? So you can spend that with us, or you can spend it with a dealer. Then one of the special benefits is that we are giving a special price on a new product, which is the Explore Scientific 2-room observatory tent, and you can get $50 off on that. So it's a really super good deal.
You know what, the Explore Alliance is really a great gift idea for kids that want to get into astronomy, because then they'll have the $100 gift card to buy anything you want. Think about that.
Yeah,
it's a great gift idea for your kids.
That's right. Some of these, you can get telescopes down to down to about $100. Of course, if you can afford it, a little bit better telescope will take that kid much further, in their ability to find deep sky objects and to get a steadier view too, because the better telescopes have better mounts, they have better focusers, they have better everything. So, and that just really does make it easier. So anyways, I think that's all I have for today. We will see you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and then we're starting an hour earlier than we normally do for the Global Star party. This will be the 15th one. It is the opposition edition. We'll have astronomers from around the world again. And so join us if you can. And if you just want to watch, we're happy to have you watch. There will be, I think it is Chuck Allen will be back on with us with the Astronomical League as well to do the door prizes. So thanks, and we will see you very soon. Take care.
Change the word. I don't know if that's their form or whose form that is.
Here we go.